Next onto the front of my Year 8 Geography Rough book is Rich Fox. And the reason why I'm dressed a little bit like Dave tonight is because we've obviously got a kind of Russian doll effect going on with the comedians tonight. Has anyone here ever worked in or does work in a supermarket? Just show of hands, or show of wheels, or show of whichever you want. Okay, wow, the energy is just giving me a stiffy. Okay, does anyone here stack shelves? Have you got a favourite thing to stack, anyone? Milk. Alright. Mine's tuna and spring water. Anyway, when I was 16, I used to stack shelves at the local co-op. And I didn't like the job at all. It was inane, it was soulless, and it was really badly paid. And I remember one night, it's coming up to about 10 o'clock, and we're about to close, and I'm still there just putting the tuna away, which was the absolute highlight of my day. And then Kris, the jumped up, recently promoted supervisor, comes over and he's just like, "Come on, Rich, yeah, it's time to go, time is money." And I was like, "What? Time is money, come on, it's time to go." And I was like, well, that's where you're wrong, Kris, actually, because time isn't, in fact, money. If a customer came up to the counter and tried to buy, say, this tin of tuna in spring water and tried to pay for it with 6:15, then there's a good chance that the transaction might fail. Rich, you know what I mean. And another thing, Kris, is that if you've gone to someone's funeral and you reveal that they lived to the ripe old age of 12 euros, that's not going to go down very well with the other family members, is it? Rich, why don't you just fuck off? And I mean, if you were to ring the building society and let them know that you've got to default for another month on your mortgage payments because you've run out of time, that's not going to fly, is it? So anyway, so after my official warning, it was obvious that I had to clean up my act. Back then I was clearly a cocky, sarcastic little bastard. So it's nice to know that I've grown up since then. But you know, Kris was just making a logical point. He was just using a small metaphor to basically just explain the fact that, come on, we're wasting time, wasting payroll money, whatever, I just want to go home. That's completely fine. At the end of the day, it's no big deal that people use metaphors and use a lot of logical expressions, in everyday life. But sometimes people come out with these things that are somewhat illogical. And I find them sublime and odd. And sometimes really fucked up, some of the things people come out with. For example, I told my dad a couple of years ago that I don't like wearing contact lenses, so I stopped wearing them because it's the whole pipette thing kind of over my eyes. And I'm like, fuck off! So fuck off to my own hands, really, really strange process. Especially when you look yourself in the mirror and say, I just said fuck off to you. And I don't like wearing glasses either, which is why I wear such small, indistinct ones. So I said to my dad, well, I don't know what to do. So my eyesight is now bad to warrant corrective eye surgery, so what do I do? And my dad said, here's what my dad said, he goes, wouldn't it be brilliant that you could have some kind of contact lens that was suspended in front of your eye, rather than in your eye? Do you mean glasses, Dad? And he goes, no, like little springs with it. Yeah, I probably do. I was like, what do you mean? Do you mean glasses? What is in your head? He's like, and he didn't tell me. I like the fact he didn't tell me. Another good example to come out of my family is my nan. One time said to my cousin David, who used to play for Telford United football team, who are just about good enough to have a half-decent stadium. She says to him, 86, bless her, she says, I'd love to come and watch you one day, on a Saturday afternoon, but it's just too cold. I'd love to sit there and watch you. And he's like, oh, that's all right, I can get you a box. And she goes, that'd be brilliant, but don't put a lid on it, eh? And once she said that, I just pictured all of these kind of 86-year-old women along the terraces in lidless portaloos, saying, don't put a lid on! Wonderful, absolutely sublime. These things that people come out with are absolute nonsense. And one thing I'll confess about myself that is completely illogical that I do this, but I do it. It's probably more of a phobia or a revulsion, or it's definitely at least 14.6% OCD. I've got a real problem with food. I will cook for myself, and then I will put the hot food there, but before I touch the hot food, the nice hot food that's there, I have to do the washing up. I can't let it sit because I instantly think that just maggots will appear like and then when I finish my food, I'll go over and find the maggots and be so grossed out that my food will come back out again. We'll be in the student, won't we? Still, I'll eat it again later. So I have to do the washing up, and the food's getting colder and colder, and the washing's getting cleaner and cleaner, and my hands getting like hotter and hotter kind of thing. And eventually I'll go over to the food. But if it's dropped below a certain intrinsic temperature that I can feel, then it reminds me of human flesh, and I have to throw that food away. Now, human flesh is there to be admired from a respectable distance, or caressed, or kissed, or sometimes fucked. But I don't like to think about it when I'm eating my fucking fried halloumi, basically. So that's the way it goes. And another thing about logic is sometimes you don't really want to know why people think these things because it's great that they do. They're just like nature's clowns, these people, and it's wonderful. And at the end of the day, I mean, like, you know, if you did reveal, like, would knowing why they think these things change it, and therefore take away the magic of the oddness of it? I mean, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Schrodinger's cat, which is a beautiful model theory, where basically, like, you got this cat in a box, a sealed box. In the box is poison with the cat. Now, the cat is either alive or dead, but you're not going to know unless you lift the lid. Now, do you want to lift the lid? Do you want to know, or do you want to leave it as it is? But when it comes to logic and people doing fucked up things, it's a case of Schrodinger's cat dropped into a wheelie bin. Why do people do these things? It just doesn't make sense. The actual woman who did drop a cat into a wheelie bin last winter, I'm sure you'll remember, it was pretty horrific, pretty strange, pretty illogical thing for someone to do. It was called Mary Bale. And I think that although, like, even Mary Bale herself was just probably tired of having to explain herself, she's probably, you know, probably had a lot of hate mail, a lot of trouble, and, you know, a lot of whatever. I think the only way to sort of, like, for us to kind of reconcile why someone would do something that odd is to go to Mary Bale's house with 6 bin men, go into her front room, lift her out of her front room into her garden, where in her garden is a giant cat litter tray full of cat litter, and written in the cat litter are the words, "Wheelie bin bastard." Chuck her in that, and then that would feel like a logical conclusion to a very, very strange situation. Thanks a lot, good night.